preparation for the interview, I'm wondering if we should ask the king about his potential involvement in politics, because as you know, during the 90s he was involved, according to what I read, in the preparation of the Constitution of Togo. So people who usually get involved in those things have inside of their heart a little palpitation. I wonder if we should ask him if he would be prepared to take part in the political process in the country, in Togo. What do you think?
Well, I think that he definitely would be willing to take part. It's just you don't know the time frame. When is the right time to step in, especially how it is now with all the violence. I don't know. In his heart, it must be very difficult for him. And the fact that Togo hasn't even been getting any news play at all. It's
yes.
Nothing. There's nothing in the papers.
Yes,
If you find it, just little tiny pieces.
Yeah, I was going to share with you. I just came from a series of trips. One of my travels took me to Kosovo. I was there for a 3-week period. During that period of time, I was reviewing the news every day, keeping track of what was going on in preparation for our interview with him. And I noticed that there's nothing about Togo, nothing at all. So I am wondering if maybe there's a news media inability to focus, because there's so much happening in North Africa, you know. So I don't know. We might want to share with him that, you know, and see what happens. Maybe he might give us some feedback on that, you think?
I think it'd be definitely a good point to ask him. I would definitely like to see more news played on this. It's not enough. People don't even know where Togo is. If you ask them where the country of Togo is, you have to say Togo. They need more information.
Yeah, they need to be, you know, informed by the media.
Yes.
The media, there should be a push somewhere along the line to help and assist in that fashion.
I'd like to see what the king has to say on that. I think that would be very good.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Well, thank you for this opportunity. Yes, our nation needs help. Togo is about 5 to 6 million people. It's between Ghana and Benin in the west region of Africa. Born in a royal family, and we have a lot of responsibility vis-a-vis to the people. And then when I returned back, came to the state, as you said, I was the first one crowned here in America when my great-grandfather decided that I should be returning back home to be crowned. But going to school in America, I don't feel time for me to go home. So they make decisions to come here. So the royal family came in 1994 while I was in school to be crowned, as you say, the first African king crowned in America. The reason, because of this instability in the country also, and then being going to school, I don't feel to return home because I'm not safe at the time. And a few years later, because the turmoil is still going on and back and forth, and we have a foundation where we start sending supplies to the country through our foundation here in the state. So based on that, we try to do the best, like I said, that we can to help the population. As you've been to the region, you know all the needs, the people rising day and night, looking for the change in the nation. So my position, projecting in the future, is to see how, with my contact around the world, we can do the best to bring help to my people. Well, it's a very difficult moment. I just returned back from the country about a few months ago, and I've seen with my own eyes, with some of the American friends, it's heartbreaking. And day and night, people on the streets, and the life to eat, even though some people have to have a food only once a day, if they can get one. And see all the problem, the hospitals are almost empty, and the doctors are fighting to have medicines in the hospitals. And as a humanitarian, as a foundation, and also as a representative of our people from the north to south, for touring to the country, it's just heartbreaking. But our plan, again, through the contact around the world and the connections we have, we've been mobilizing people to see how they can come and join, not only through our organization, but to bring the help into the nation. So We are working in the different angles, mobilizing the young people. The last time I went, we brought a lot of food to refugees who are already in Benin. I will ship a lot of rice, and when they must say to deliver, make sure the food, the donations reach the people through the government of Benin. Again, I believe it's not only one person's job. I just feel from my heart, and knowing I cannot go to bed knowing one of my person, one of my people on the street doesn't have what to eat the next day. So it's just something who's been burning my heart, and I'm speaking to some of our people to see how they can come to help for us to continue our work in the country. The reason we have that conference, I'm the president of our organization, King and Queen South Africa, and all these chiefs in the villages, in the countries, respectively, need assistance. It's not only to have them when the political leaders want to do, but those are people who has the power of the people to make a change in the villages, in their countries. So with this organization, I received a call, 2005. The president of the Republic of Togo passed away. So all the chiefs called and said, we have to do something. Then I sent a message to all of them. About 230 something chiefs and kings came to Togo. I hosted that conference for 7 days. Our topics was the role of the chiefs and the kings in Africa in the process of democracy. What's their role? What they can do? How they can make an impact to bring peace, no bloodshed, all the stuff, not only to use them when the chief or the politician going to use them for campaign, but their role also in the system of stability of the nations. So that conference went very well in 2005. Soon after the death of the president, there's a lot of killing took place in Togo. And even myself went through all those stuff and came out, even though I almost lost my life in some of those situations with my bodyguard, all those stuff. So, but anyway, by the grace of God, I will say, I escaped that moment, the situation. But again, out of this conference, it brings a change where all the chiefs in the villages started went back. The young people came and learning from these chiefs, what can they do to stabilize, make a peace with the young people so they don't go to destroy or for whatever the change for democracy is not something for one day. Our nation needs to learn in the process until it become. America do not be the greatest democratic political system in the world, but the best we can get all today is the lesson we can learn from America. And bringing African chiefs to understand how the chiefs also run the monarchy system, traditional system, in their home, in their villages, we need to bring that into our system for democracy. Because we cannot bring democracy from Europe to work. It's like putting the engine of 747 engine into small Volkswagen. It will collapse. That's what European and American system bring into Africa, but they are forgetting the chief have their way of ruling before. That's our organization. We are trying to teach people how we can bring them both together before the democracy can succeed in Africa. A few weeks ago, I received a call and from some of the journalists who received me a few months back. And we have a conference call, and conference with all the journalists, and the question said, Your Majesty, you have done a lot to help many countries. You are involved in the change of the history of many countries around the world. What about us? What is your plan? Just like your question now, it brought me back again the question what the journalists asked me back in Togo. When can you step in? We need you. And the young people send me email and SMS coming to me. We need your help. The government, the opposition, we have been breaking things day and night. What is your plan for us? Answering your question, I said, sometimes we cannot force the destiny, but destiny can force on us. When we come to the crossroad, there's no way to go left and right. We have to respond to the call of destiny. At this moment, my plan is to see the stability in my country and looking for political leaders, all who are seeking for posts or position, to think about the people, not for themselves, but how they can come together, have a discussion as respectful for each other to make stable country. So humanitarian or aid can be coming to the country, and from their view, their question said, Your Majesty, we want you to step in. We want you to come in. Can you play any role as a reconciliator like you have done in several years back? You brought the family of the political leader and the opposite family for many years. You bring them together, the young generation, you brought them together. Why now you step in now to do something? Up to this hour, I don't have any answer for those questions for them yet, but when the moment comes, I will step in to do what they will request from me to do to help the country. Well, it's heartbreaking, but at the same time, the change must take place. Some leadership in the whole continent, some not monarchy, but making themselves to become monarch, or stay in ruling for 30, 40, 50 years for one family. And what happened in North Africa, I think, is a lesson to see the Africans in general are ready and looking for change. Any human race who been oppressed for a long time, at certain time will vindicate it for gasping for air to breathe for their life. And the lessons we are learning from North Africa, I believe at the end will be a lesson for the rest of the continent, and at the same time, the history making before our eyes going to take another toll, which is maybe we learn. If you come to power, you don't have to stay for the rest of your life. Leave somebody also to do something when you finish your term. I think it's a learning process. And it's sad that a lot of bloodshed in the North Africa to make this change. But at the same time, we know the history of our great nation, America. There's a lot of bloodshed to see this country to be called United States of America today. It's a bloodshed. Some people pay for the other ones to come in. But we just hope it won't take too long before we learn the lesson and making this change. So my hope and my prayer, especially for this time, for some our brothers, friends going through Ramadan moment, and to seize this moment, to see what the people want, what the country want, and how to make the lessons we, the rest of Africa, need to learn from them. Well, in Togo, I will say it's more the political climate who's affecting them right now. And we have a rainy season too much, who's taking people's homes, take some bridges away. A few weeks or few months back, I was on the U.S.A. TV interview about the situation in Togo relating to that. Now, in Togo and Somalia, those situations, when I spoke to some of the chiefs on the phone, some hosts from that region, they just said it's almost like devastating. But why do we wait so long? That's a question they're asking me. I say, Your Majesty, you are there for your friends in America, you are in Europe, all over. Can you talk to them to hear us, to come to our help? But like I said, soon is better than never. But now the attention is coming in, and the support started going into the country little by little. And I hope with that, especially the situation with Somalia, can be resolved with Kenya, Ethiopia, all those regions in the Horn of Africa right now. Hopefully, it may not be overnight, but the help is started going small and slowly. I believe they will find a solution for that.